Welcome to the Back Row Fantasy Show with your hosts, Jeremy Barker, Aaron Arms, and Chad Niddle.
Are you Nene?
There you go. Talking during the intro.
No, that's fine.
Nothing like a little arms talk for the intro. Welcome to the Back Row Fantasy Show. My name is Bark, if you didn't know, and Arms is to my left.
Good morning.
And Nit took his winter stuff off, but he is to my right.
It's like Arms forgets what he's doing during the intro. You have one thing to do.
You guys,
that is nothing.
You guys are
nothing.
Dancing. I thought he was whipping and Nene, and I was very.
Ooh, been a long time since I heard whipping and Nene.
Watch me
whip. Whatever.
Whip. Watch me now.
I was alarmed. I'm like, are you dancing or are you having a heart attack? What's going on here?
Both is possible.
Are you seizing? Are you having a seizure?
I've never attempted either of those moves. Neither the whip
a heart
nor
attack or a seizure.
I neither whip nor Nene.
What about the dabbing stuff?
I neither nip. That's
sometimes it's fun just to toss it up.
You're gonna punch your mic.
It's always hilarious to watch like 6, 7, 8-year-olds try to do the dab, and then they're just.
Well, it's funny to
watch.
What are you doing? It's funny to watch
doing?
him cough and do it involuntarily. Like my kid last night was like, and I'm like, just like.
You're like, did you just score a touchdown?
My kid's smoking dabs.
It's interesting to watch a kid dance to the "In My Feelings" song. I don't know. The weirdest part is actually listening to the song with your kid, because it's not exactly a child-friendly song, but it is a fun song to watch them attempt to dance to.
Is that the Kiki song?
Yeah, yes. Kiki.
I legitimately had no idea that's what it was named.
Yeah.
I've watched a couple people get hit by cars, and I'm like, deserved it.
Trap Bunny Benny's.
Hey,
you know you got me in your feelings.
I don't know what.
Yeah. What a weird way to open up the show.
Yeah.
Especially since we're back on video.
I was just saying, whenever I watch people get out of a moving car and dance, like you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes.
Yeah.
Like you run into a stop sign. Good for that stop sign.
Yeah.
Get on that stop sign. Stop sign one, you nothing.
Wonderful.
Let's go.
That's a wonderful life lesson. You play stupid games, you win stupid prizes.
Absolutely. Now listen, before we get too deep, too far. Made a little noise touching my mic.
Too quickly.
Should we celebrate Julio Jones? Finally got a freaking touchdown?
Well, wait.
Oh.
Before that, we just want to let all the listeners know that we are going to do a Grade the Trade episode, and we do have some submissions, but not enough. We want to do a full show of Grade the Trade submissions. So a trade that's proposed to you or a trade that you have recently completed, send us a DM. Give us something to grade. Me and Arms and Knit. I looked at you in the opposite. I said, me and Arms and Knit. That was weird. We want to grade. We want to become teachers. We want to be your teacher to tell you whether you need to put in the wink, wink, extra work.
Fantasy coaches?
Fantasy coaches. You can find us on Brazzers.com when we release it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no,
does not sound right.
We want to grade the trades, okay? We want to grade your trades. We want to hear about your trades. In a lot of leagues, it's deadline time. Our deadline is Thursday to complete trades in our league of record, so to speak. So we assume some of you operate the same way, and we'd like to hear about some of those proposals, even if they're god-awful. If they're still sitting in your...
there's so many of them that are bad.
Yeah, and if they're still sitting in your trade canal, then we want to hear about it.
I want to do a 2-for-1 upgrade. All right, you send me your 2 best players, and I'm going to send you one guy that's slightly worse than either one of them.
Goes back to what Chad said. Like, I want to give you Richard Sherman in this deal to upgrade a little. Little Richard Sherman.
He would never see the field.
I like to throw that name on there, man.
Little Richard Sherman.
Yeah.
How many people bite, though? You know what I mean? It's like...
They used to bite more than they do now. But now in our main league, everyone just hits reject without looking. Like, it's from Niddle. It's from Barker.
Are you kidding me?
You're taking it.
You're getting Terrell Suggs and Von Miller in this deal?
Whew. Oh, my God.
You've heard of those. You have heard of those guys, buddy.
Man.
Buddy, you need to accept this deal right now.
They have a combined less points than freaking Jordan Lucas? Okay.
Wow.
Wow.
Well,
Actually, I don't. I know that's most likely not true, but anyhow.
it's all good. But yeah, so get us those trade submissions. We would love to grade your trades. What do you think, guys? Should we just start off with the game that recently ended before we just woke up, and talk a little Packers and Patriots? I just to cover Sunday Night Football real quick.
I really don't want to relive that game because I did watch all of it, hoping Brady would punch in a 1-yard touchdown in the 8 opportunities he had last night.
Me and Nit are battling this week, and it's a 7-point game with some really cruddy players. Not cruddy, but it's like his Kevin Byard versus my DeMarcus Lawrence and Ryan Sakoop. And I'm down by 7.
Sakoop? What?
Sakoop.
Suck up.
I hope he Coops. I don't know.
He's a kicker. He's going to score 10 for me. So I'll be up by 3. Then I just need DeMarcus Lawrence to cover whatever Kevin Byard does, which is asking a lot.
So, into the game.
He needs a sack, more or less.
At least.
Where are you guys going to start with this cat?
What cat are we talking about?
The game.
The Sunday Night Football game that you just introduced.
Listen,
Yeah, did anyone see the goats?
I didn't know we called the cats or games cats.
Whatever. Did anyone see them have jerseys on the goats and they were headbutting each other?
Yeah.
Oh, that was glorious. At first, I'm like, why do they have jerseys on goats? Oh, greatest of all time. Yeah.
It took you that long?
It was almost immediately. But I'm like, this look like, I don't know the difference between a male or a female goat unless there's horns. I just assume that males have horns and female goats don't. And I'm like, they got them on some nanny goats up there.
Some nanny goats. What is a nanny goat?
That's a female goat.
Is that a technical term, or
believe
did
so.
you just make that up?
Yeah.
It's a farmhand term. Arms is a
I grew up on a farm. You guys have an issue with that?
I didn't say anything about having an issue. I just said you have a farmhand.
We had
But
a goat.
is that a country technical term, or is that an actual technical term?
Technically, it's a country term.
So like School of Deer technical, like
School of Deer.
Pack of Fish.
Like a complaint of Karen's.
Yes. Who's Karen?
Just the random I want to see your manager person.
Oh, okay.
It's that haircut.
Oh, okay. All right. Anyway, back to the game.
A murder
back
of
to the
crows.
game.
Anyhow.
Well, the Patriots over and over turned to Cordero Patterson to punch in 2-yard touchdown drives for some reason.
Very strange that all of a sudden he is like, hey, Cordell, you're Sony Michelle today.
You know what?
He's the big back. That's what they kept saying. He's the big back at 225.
Since
It's because he's 6'2". I mean, that's why. Listen, here's what I'm going to say.
When did that happen? The announcers act like it's common knowledge. It's like this is his first double-digit yard carrying game all season, but they act like he's been the big back for the Patriots all season.
Here's what's crazy to me. Cordero Patterson, I know he only had 61 yards, but at one point he was like 5 for 51. You know, he got shut down after his first 5 carries, really dominated. Man, this kind of is why running backs aren't that darn valuable.
Yeah, because you can stick just anybody at the position.
They're putting the 5th receiver on their team, just like, you're running back this week.
The Patriots are putting the fifth. Like
Green Bay did it with Ty Montgomery.
But Cordell Patterson is one of the most athletic people.
Correct.
Like body type wise to technical Tennessee guy. But I mean the guy can stop on a dime.
Yeah.
But not actually stop. Like he cuts corners quicker than most people. That's why he's one of the great punt returners, kick returners in the league. So, I mean, he's one of the few guys that you can convert quickly to a running back just because you get the ball in space. And who knew that he was better at catching or taking a handoff than catching actual passes? I mean, he was a wide receiver.
Listen, I have to ask. Redraft.
I'm a Raiders fan. I actually knew he was terrible at catching passes.
That's what I was saying. Like, you're a wide. He's been
Miscast.
a round peg being pounded into a square hole his entire life.
And the Raiders have used all kinds of weird players at weird positions. They should have saw this.
Yeah, we had Terrell Pryor at quarterback.
I mean, would you rather have Cordero Patterson as your running back right now for the Raiders?
Kinda. I don't know. Doug Martin hasn't looked awful.
No, I guess not. But
They scored 3 points. Let's not
Yeah.
go down the
No.
let's not
Yeah,
go
yeah,
down
yeah.
that rabbit
No.
hole.
I'm just saying it hasn't looked awful.
Real
He's
quick.
not good.
real quick, and this is a legitimate question. If you're in redraft and you could choose for your playoff run, Alvin Kamara or James White? Redraft. You don't have to keep him. It's not Dynasty.
It's Kamara. The only reason I'm going to go that way is because when Sony Michel comes back, a lot more of these touchdowns go to Sony Michel.
I don't know. James White was putting up production with Michelle. I'm just
But most of it was in the passing game.
every time looking at the stat line and the fantasy line, it's like, dude, James White kills whoever he plays. Like, if you're facing James White, you need to be scared.
Oh, yeah.
It's ridiculous.
James White's good. Very good.
They're very close to the same player fantasy wise. They're going to give you like 6 receptions or more.
Yeah.
And go for 125 total yards and almost definitely get in the end zone. Like, I mean,
yeah.
that is you. Those are those two guys.
It's nuts. But yeah, Josh Gordon also, Patriots noteworthy, had his Patriot breakout game.
I'll tell you what, he actually had
He's playing Patriot games.
another like insane body control catch that they did not call a catch for, I want to say, another 30 yards. Gordon's looking ridiculous right now.
Now, I mean, he's looked solid, a little more solid each game, but this was a Josh Gordon game.
I want to say he had 100 yards last week. I mean, Gordon's been doing well. No, last week he had 42. The previous week
I was about
he
to
had
say, I think this was his first 100.
No, the previous week to that he had 100.
Did he?
Yeah.
Okay.
The touchdown was more of a play design. Like, most of the wide receivers in the league were going to score on that play. Do the whole fake screen, hit him wide open, just beat a safety who was scrambling to get to a point. But the most impressive catch to me was the one that kind of iced the game, the little just 5-yard slant late in the game, need a first down, little play action, put it on him. He caught the ball in traffic, converted it basically into the game right then and there for the Patriots. So Josh Gordon does look like that go-to guy at times. Just unfortunately, they don't have to go to him. You know, it's the Patriots, man. If you're a go-to, there is no go-to except Tom Brady.
I mean, Edelman's going to catch a ton of balls every week, but that's the only sure thing in their offense, really.
Yeah.
Well, I guess
White.
James White now.
Yeah.
How about the Packers side?
Packers side, man, this team is underperforming.
Rodgers
Just
still
say it.
doing what he does, though. I mean, 250 yards, 2 touchdowns, still looks fine. I mean,
I know,
it's
but
not a
it's
week
not-
winner,
it's-
but it's not going to kill you.
It's not really Aaron Rodgers either. I mean, he's doing okay. Those are kind of pedestrian stats. I mean, he's kind of put up. He's not putting up an elite season, I guess. I know he had the injury worries, but I do like Marquez Valdez-Scantling scoring his 100-yard game last night.
I knew you were going to say that too.
I'm so intrigued.
I'm surprised you didn't put the respect on his name. Marquez.
Marquez.
Valdez. Scotland.
Just intriguing.
You know what? I started him in a league on a complete waiver wire pickup, and obviously I'm ecstatic with the results. I mean, dude, Valdez-Scantling looks like the second favorite target. I mean, he's the one that he's at least getting looked at on the deep balls, and Rodgers delivers the prettiest Hail Mary in the league. You know, the best streak. He's beautiful rainbow.
He looked at Marquez. Six targets, three reception, 100 yards, but the other 3 targets were all 30-yard plus passes too. I mean, Marquez. Valdez-Scantling to me, he's a one-trick pony. Is the only issue. Is the only issue. I mean, they do try to throw screens to Devontae Adams, drag routes.
Oh, Devontae
slants.
Adams is elite.
He's their go-to. Valdez-Scantling's a little more of the we'll let this guy beat us every now and again. And he did. This is one of his best games, and they only put up 17 points. Now, he made a sweet catch on a go route, underthrown ball with the safety bearing down. Like, the guy has talent. I'm not trying to take it away from him. I'm just saying I'm looking at more of this Packers offense as a whole. It's like the running game really isn't there, even though Aaron Jones goes for 76 yards. He had the fumble. I mean, they just can't trust anyone in their backfield. And outside of Devontae Adams and Marquez Valdez-Scantling, I mean, maybe you say Jimmy Graham's a threat. Jimmy Graham's always a red zone threat, but I mean, I just don't understand what they're trying to do. It's the same thing over and over all game long. It was like, run here. Okay, try to hit Devontae Adams. Third down. Oh, we're getting blitz. Fling it up in the air to Valdez-Scantling. Like, I mean, they're a very predictable offense as a whole right now that has good players on it. Just needs better play design in Green Bay to me.
Yeah, their gameplay has been very vanilla this season, and it's disappointing because they've got the weapons. Like, they have. I mean, Jimmy Graham, we're not going to talk about him as a top fantasy tight end, but he's a red zone threat. You've got Adams and Graham, and Aaron Jones looks pretty good, and Jamal Williams can give you a little something. I mean, Randall Cobb has played more games than he's missed. I mean, they have the weapons on offense to hang with teams, and they're just not. So I think you hit it on the head. They're very vanilla.
I mean, right now they're beating teams who they are just better than personnel-wise.
Basically,
and the teams who have a better matchup, as far as maybe a little bit better coach or, above 500 record, that's who's beating the Packers.
Yeah.
Well, Arms, I'd like to give you the opportunity to be ecstatic about your team, which is basically, your fantasy team is basically the New Orleans Saints. So,
are you doing wrong if you have that?
I didn't say that. I said, here's your opportunity to be super happy and maybe even take a jab at one of our league mates. Like, should have took the deal, man. You should have took that deal.
Listen, you said a minute ago, Kamara or James White. I'm going to go with Kamara just based on the consistency of the body of work.
Redraft. Don't get confused, listeners. Not Dynasty. We wouldn't do that.
We were just making a compare. I think you were just trying to drive home the James White, Alvin Kamara comparison. I don't think anyone in their right mind, even in redraft, is going to take James White. Let's clarify that. It's Alvin Kamara all day long. It's just you were driving home the point that James White is very Alvin Kamara-like.
I'm just saying at the end of the day, if for some reason James White finishes ahead of Kamara, like redraft-wise,
it wouldn't be out of the question.
It wouldn't be out of the question.
Happen.
Redraft-wise, you're like, man, I could have got James White in round 15.
In PPR, I'll buy the possibility. Still unlikely to me. But
basically a testament of James White's fantasy relevance.
I mean,
how kind of you.
Kamara,
congratulations.
3 touchdowns before the half. The only disappointment I have is just keep feeding the guy. My God, he had like 110, 112 yards, something like that.
I don't know.
What's wrong with? Why not just keep giving him the daggone ball?
You see what happened to me and
you. You've got Mark
you.
Ingram. I think he fumbled. I believe they recovered it, but he fumbled before halftime. Feed the kid.
That solidifies Kamara, but you see what happens when we tell our wives to keep feeding us.
Well, we get fat.
It's not, So maybe Kamara gets fat and happy and like, I'm just going to.
I don't think that's
half-ass on this one.
I think he's a competitor. Speaking of competitor, the best wide receiver in the league showed it again.
Kenny Golladay?
Let's be real. It's Michael Thomas.
All right.
Michael Thomas
had a big game.
He's a 2-for-1 player.
He played well.
Him and Adam, right now, him and Thielen.
Thielen a little down week.
But I'm talking just great seasons.
Oh, yeah.
Those are the two guys that Brown obviously because touchdown monster and gets a ton of targets. But between those three guys, the most likely to be able to get 2 players in return, 2 high-value players. Go to the juggernaut in your league and be like, hey, what do you give me for Michael Thomas? That guy's got 5 number 1 receivers. Whenever you've got 2.5, that's the Michael Thomas level player.
Are you going to do that though? Like if you had the chance to do that? Because now I figure this solidifies like Michael. They're in your Hall of Fame now. Thomas and Kamara.
Oh, Kamara's almost untradeable anyway.
There we go. That's what I was.
I mean,
for.
you can't.
That's what I was. Fishing for.
Nobody's giving you Todd Gurley. And it's too equal of a trade for most of the other players that you're going to try to acquire. I mean, what are you going to get like Kareem Hunt and maybe something else?
If it's a top-tier wide receiver in Kareem Hunt? Okay.
If it's top-tier wide, nobody's giving you a top-tier wide receiver and Kareem Hunt for any player.
You never know.
Do you have Kareem Hunt and top-tier wide receiver? Let's talk.
I do in another league.
Oh, man. I'm sure the Alvin Kamara owner will break your arm for that. I would. Top 10 running back and a top 10 receiver for a top 5 running back? Yeah.
He probably would.
Absolutely.
Probably would.
I'd trade that away.
I'd hate to get rid of him, but I would definitely trade it.
I'm still I know it's ridiculous, but I'm still like, listen, top 5. If I have a top 5 pick in Dynasty or redraft, I'm taking Kamara in that top 5. But I still have that. I want those volume guys for some reason. It's really dumb. Like, it's really dumb that I would be like, you're gonna give me.
I'll take the great player on the great offense over the great player on the subpar offense who's still doing well.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to diminish Kamara.
Long story
way.
short, it came down to just a preseason discussion before Saquon Barkley ever touched the field. I said, what would you want for Saquon Barkley? Oh, it would never happen because it would take more than having Kamara. Excuse me? And number 3 overall running back last year. It's going to take more than that to get a guy who's never played football.
See, I still want Saquon.
But why?
In Dynasty, if it's redraft, give me Kamara.
They're the same age, Barker.
I don't care about age. I'm not talking about age. I'm talking about.
So
I'm not arguing the point that Barkley is a.
And you
better,
want him in redraft and dynasty. Then.
Yeah, listen. For everyone watching or listening to the show, if you have the choice between Kamara and Barkley, you should probably go Kamara. I'm just saying, like, for some reason, I can't get over my need for a 25 carry back.
I want
to hold him and I want to coddle him.
But Ingram may be gone next year, and Kamara could be the 25 carry back.
You might be right. Or you might be the wrong one.
I'm not getting in the middle of this one.
No, I'm done.
I'm totally on the fence.
Kamara, here's what I'm going to say.
I'm just ready to get back to the game.
Whatever player you have, you just be happy you've got him.
Right.
Because you're not going to win the trade, you're not going to lose the trade either way.
Are you talking to yourself? Because you're the one who was so upset that you could not get it. And you're like, if you have either one, just be happy. But I really wanted Saquon, and now I'm going to let him know about it.
I never tried to trade Saquon. I was just asking, and he wouldn't even come back and say, well, it's going to take Kamara. It's going to take Kamara. Like, I'm just,
we need
what
to
is
get
it
him.
going to
We
take?
need to get him on the next show.
You put a
4-man show.
Yeah, you put a lot of time and effort into not really wanting to go acquire the guy.
Oh, I'd love to have him.
A lot of Facebook typing.
I'd love to have him. I'm just like, it's not going to be Alvin Kamara plus to get Saquon Barkley. Outside of those two, Drew Brees
That was exclamation points.
has a monstrous game. 4 touchdowns, almost 400 yards. Drew Brees.
Oh, yeah.
He's good.
That guy's
That
pretty
guy's
awesome.
good. He's not bad.
Dude, I tell you what, Jared Goff is quickly looking like a top 5 quarterback. Like, consistency-wise, the weapons around him, the offense, the fearlessness that the Rams' offensive game plan involves. Like, it's not, as much as it is Todd Gurley, it isn't all Todd Gurley there. Like, when they get
Cooper
in these...
Kupp is an animal.
He is. And he's still kind of getting more and more healthy.
Yeah.
Coming off the
getting
injury.
better every game. He's just, there's still a possibility for a 3rd-year breakout with him.
Like, he's getting more savvy.
Yeah.
Like, he's slowly putting it all together.
Such a good route runner.
And getting Brandon Cooks, whenever they get the production out of Brandon Cooks like this, I mean, it makes their offense just tick, man. I didn't personally get the chance to watch this one live.
I watched pretty much every down.
Yeah, I watched a lot of it.
As I was traveling, but I was keeping up with it. I'm like, what is going on? I mean, more or less, Saints got up early. Rams tried to track them down. Almost did.
Did a great job.
It was a monstrous game. Cooper Kupp, though, as you were saying, being a monster, 6 touchdowns so far on the year. He's missed 2 games.
Yeah.
I mean, just absolute. This was, I believe, their 9th game. Absolute monster, and still someone who doesn't get the credit that he deserves. I mean, he's a top 10 receiver. Cooper Kupp.
All 3 of those guys are in L.A. It's crazy. You can start any one of them, and you're not getting a dud most likely. I mean, even Robert Woods was 5 for 71. Like, that's better than my receivers did on my team yesterday.
That is
sadly.
That is insane.
I'm
actually scrolling down the list and just keep in mind Kupp's missed a little bit of time. Robert Woods is 16. Brandon Cooks is 21 points, and that's in points per game. I'm trying to find.
Is my fantasy league back up?
Mm-hmm.
Hey.
Where the heck's Cooper Kupp?
But yeah, Cooper Kupp's an animal, and
Cooper Kupp's 13.
Yeah, because of the missed games.
Yeah, because of the missed games. Insane.
And I know we haven't gotten any games yet, but I would like to know you guys' picks. Because to me, 4 teams look like they could win the Super Bowl.
2 of them played in this game.
2 of them played in this game. and you got Patriots, Chiefs, Saints, and Rams.
Chargers at
Chargers
times.
look good.
Chargers
I just don't
at
know.
times
I don't
look
know
like
if
they
they.
can do it.
I don't know if they can get that extra. You know, I don't.
Have
know.
you watched?
When's Joey Bosa due back? I mean,
Should be soon.
Shot in the arm for that defense, and as good as the offense has looked, and the balance, not to jump over there, but I mean they are a balanced team. But I'm more on the 4-horse race.
Yeah, me too. I think the Chargers are like on the outside looking in. Maybe another team or two on the outside looking in. But man, if those are the AFC and NFC championship games, that's going to be one heck of a week of football.
I mean, it's like the most exciting race to the first overall seed right now.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you go look at the Steelers, you know, they're doing quite well, hitting stride. To go back over to the NFC, there's a lot of players or a lot of teams that you're like, man, that team looked very, very good. Like Falcons this week. Falcons look like a heck of a team. At times, the Cowboys look like a heck of a team. At times, the Eagles look like a real solid team. And, of course, you know, the never say die Washington Redskins.
Yeah, I don't know. The Eagles have the biggest chance. Out of those teams, the Eagles have the biggest chance. The other ones are flawed. I mean, just flawed.
Especially defensively.
Eagles are in perfect position. I mean, if you ask everything they've gone through, yeah, they'd probably want to be more 5-3 than 4-4. But, I mean, they're in perfect position in the weakest division in football, really, to make a run, to run on this thing. But
Guys, you guys want to run through some – we talked about the biggest games, in my opinion, with the biggest teams. You want to keep talking about the games? Or you want to talk about some top fantasy production weeks?
Let's roll down whatever you want to do there, host.
I'm cool with whatever.
Host with the most.
I enjoy talking games, but, you know, we could go fantasy production just because we don't have enough time to go through every game. But Brees, we talked about him. He was your number one quarterback this week. And, again, a lot of the same names we usually see. Matt Ryan, number 2. Goff, number 3, Patty Ice, unstoppable at number 4. And then you got who the fuck is that guy? Didn't play very good, Mr. Ryan Fitzpatrick, but
Didn't play very good. He had 4 touchdowns. Like I'm ecstatic with that. I don't care how many
fantasy-wise, you're
I don't
happy.
care how many interceptions the guy throws. He gave me 4 touchdowns on fantasy.
Fantasy-wise, you're happy, but when the coach has to come out and say that Ryan Fitzpatrick will remain the starter, doesn't mean he played particularly well in real football. He played, just well enough to keep it another week, but real close to handing it back over.
He's still better than Jameis Winston.
I agree.
I feel like you're trying to get to that number 7 quarterback.
He's moseying on down there.
Yeah.
Just
Before we go down to that, because I know you're gonna talk about how you're a genius.
I'm not a genius. I had no. Oh, wait a minute. I did pick him up in a league where I didn't need him, but it was just because a starter for $1 in a 16-teamer, you could at least flip him for $2.
Or 7.
Nick Mullins is the guy we're talking about here.
Real quick though, 29 touchdowns, basically at the halfway point of the season, slightly over for Patty Mahomes. Is he gonna break the record?
That'd be awesome. I'd love to see it broken by essentially a rookie.
He's well on pace. I mean, he'd
yeah.
have to absolutely self-destruct in the second half of the season. It's not going to happen.
No,
like
his self-destruct has happened. He's thrown interceptions in multiple games now where he didn't throw any through the first 4.
In the 2 games, he had 1 or 0 passing touchdowns. He had a rushing touchdown in both.
Yeah.
I mean, he's on the season. He's got 31 total touchdowns. Obviously, the record's about passing, but he's got 31 total touchdowns. That is just ridiculous.
Kid's generational talent, apparently.
What is the record?
55, I believe.
Yeah, Peyton. Is it Peyton?
Peyton Manning.
Yeah, you're gonna break that.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like he can get to 60 because he's not going to be facing the Chiefs.
That's a heck of a pace to keep up. But.
It's very difficult to pass on, the Broncos and the Chiefs. Or excuse me, the Jaguars, not the Chiefs.
Man, passing against your own team would be tough.
Well, he's got a good pass defense, so yeah,
true,
definitely would. But no, he's already faced basically 2 of the premier defensive backfields in the league.
Yeah,
and he got slaughtered by him. I'll tell you that. He did not perform well, but anyone outside of those two, he's putting up 40 points a game.
The one thing I'll say on this is Kareem Hunt's reemerged as top 5,
In
right
a
where he
big
should be, getting it done on the ground. I mean, he goes 90 yards, 2 touchdowns this week. I mean, that would be the one thing that you could say maybe falls a little short. Maybe ends up high 40s, something like that, just because they commit to Kareem Hunt as they are right now.
But then you got him throwing touchdown passes to Kareem Hunt.
But that's the positive
Crazy.
side of it. That's where I was going with it. I mean, that just helps. It's kind of like Kareem Hunt running the football is actually going to help Patrick Mahomes. I mean, it's going to free up Tyreek Hill. It's going to free up Travis Kelce a little bit more. I mean, this is just an electric offense. Maybe the bet up to this point, it is a top 5 all-time offense. If not, I mean, it's just scary how good this team is on that side of the football.
There's
they just need
all
to get
pros at every position at the skill positions. I mean, your tight end's one of the best. You have a receiver that's one of the best. You have a running back that's one of the best, and you have a quarterback that may be the best.
It's like legitimately drafting a fantasy team.
Basically.
Like, if you had all 4 of those players, that you just made fun of me for having half the Saints on my team, I would kill to have half the Chiefs on my team as well.
I wasn't making fun. I would love to have half the Saints as my team. All the way down to Traquan. Give me some Traquan for a bye week play.
Give me Traquan. I'll take Mark Ingram as my number 2 running back.
Yeah.
Let's do this.
I'd be comfortable with that.
Barker, have you been working on your Patrick Mahomes impression?
No.
No, you haven't. All right,
He sounds like
wondering.
he kind of sounds like Booger off Revenge of the Nerds. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I think it kind of sounds like Bobby Hill. Oh, down!
That's not bad.
It's kind of Cartman like. Your voice was.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. It's a mix between Cartman and Bobby Hill.
Anyhow.
Good on my propane.
Sorry. I derailed that.
I'm a damn tool set.
All right, let's go to Nick Mullins so
All
you
right.
can talk about Nick Mullins and how great this guy is going to be and take over the starting position for the last 5 years.
I'm going to break it down quickly.
He's
not that good.
No.
He's not that good.
But he might be the starter in Buffalo next year.
He might be the starter in Buffalo. He has I saw a little bit of float to his throw. Like, they kind of hang a little more than they should. I didn't see, like, lasers, which not every quarterback has to throw lasers to be successful.
Laser rocket cannon.
But, I mean, what sucked about, Nick Mullins had this sweet stat line, and he deserves to be the starter going forward, in my opinion. I believe he is a probably more accurate guy than Beathard.
Do this against the Raiders, though.
I understand. But I mean, you have in a lost season, I think you have to give the guy another start. Just to see what you have in him. Like, what's the point of rolling Beathard back out? They know that Beathard is not like their long-term starter, and Jimmy G is their long-term starter. Don't get me wrong. But to showcase Nick Mullins and maybe build up some hype for an off-season trade, I think you have to do that. Plus, you've got this whole story about Southern Miss and he's buddies with Brett Favre, and it's just a feel-good story for the NFL, and the San Francisco 49ers need something to feel good about. C.J. Beathard's not something to feel good about.
I don't think they're going to feel good about anything that had to do with Brett Favre after all the years he put him out of the playoffs.
True. But, I mean, Nick Mullins, he had a great game, but when you watch the tape, a lot of those touchdowns were manufactured for him. A lot of short
scripted.
passes taken a long ways, and he made some dangerous throws. Thank God that George Kittle is really freaking good, because that pass that he threw over the middle in between two defenders, that Kittle's like, got it, with one hand and then streaked off. Like, Nick Mullins was extremely fortunate that wasn't picked off.
Yeah.
Extremely fortunate.
First touchdown of the game was a play-action rollout pass that every Raider thought because they're the Raiders and they don't understand football right
they
now.
Were all
Raheem
caught off guard.
They're like, oh, yeah, let's go tackle this guy.
I've never seen 11 guys caught off guard. Wow.
Marquise, or no. It was Pierre Garçon just kind of like moonwalking by himself.
I think even he was laughing as he's like, I think it was less of like one of these like, and more like a, what just happened? How was, that was easy. But Nick Mullins, thank God I started him in one league. Yeah. But I mean, I think he's worth starting to see what you got, but the hype train should probably slow down a little bit, because
Well, okay.
You're the only person that had the hype train rolling.
Oh no! Listen to some podcasts out right now. Listen to some other fantasy podcasts. There's Nick Mullins hype train.
Let me just ask you though: are you starting Nick Mullins over
Derek Carr? Yes.
Over Derek Carr, maybe.
No, let's
Hey, listen.
No, but like I'm saying over Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
Okay. Over Ryan Fitzpatrick.
No.
Here's the fortunate thing for Nick Mullins is, again, it goes to Kyle Shanahan. It's a Kyle Shanahan offense. Every play is very scripted. Like, it is a very calculated offense for the quarterback. The quarterback's supposed to thrive in this offense. So that's the good. I mean, he only had to throw the ball 22 times because they were up by so much. Maybe he gets into a little bit of a shootout or where they depend on him. We'll see a lot more about Nick Mullins in the games to come.
Especially the next one, I think. And this next one is going to be important. We're going to see if he's an accurate game managing quarterback that can put up a couple touchdowns a game, or if it was the Raiders.
Can he deal with?
I can assure you.
Yeah. Can he deal with not having early success? I mean, a lot of it was, what do you get off to? Like a 7 for 7 start with a touchdown,
Listen,
125 yards in the first 5 minutes of the game.
Yeah, and I got to hand it to him in a pressure situation where no one knows who you are. No one knows who you are, and you're coming out on
except Brett Favre,
and you come out on a big stage like that. I will give him credit. Those short dump off passes and the ones that were mid range, put them exactly where they needed to be. So I'm not taking anything away from him. Like easy throws, probably, but he put them exactly where they needed to be. And I've seen guys like Ryan Tannehill throw them behind him to someone on the sideline and not intentionally. Right. So Nick Mullins, come on over to Miami. We'll give you some millions. You can be our starter.
So rest of the season. So let's say that he secures a starting job. Do you want him over Matthew Stafford?
No.
Like, that's the 20th ranked quarterback.
But I mean,
over Blake Bortles.
Yes.
Okay. Over
anyone over Blake.
Are you guys still talking about Nick Mullins, or have we moved on?
I'm trying to figure out like what kind of hype is behind this kid. I don't want
the hype is if you.
I'm just going to let somebody else spend all their football budget on him, their free agent budget.
Here's the way I look at it: if you've had to roll out Dak Prescott, Sam Darnold, Derek Carr. If you've rolled out guys that you're scared to death of, like, man, it's either 5 points or 35 points. I may roll out Nick Mullins just as this guy might be a consistent 20. He might be a consistent 20. If I have a crappy record, I'm going to throw some spaghetti against the wall and see if it sticks. That's the only thing I'm looking at with Nick Mullins. Like, am I excited? No. But have I been starting Sam Darnold all year or Case Keenum, and I'm just going to roll a different direction and start the Mullins kid just to see? Yeah. If I'm in contention, there's no way I'm starting Nick Mullins.
You want to hear something hilarious? So I've been running. I went quarterback very last in my draft, and I think it's a 12-teamer. So I pick up Matthew Stafford almost last round. Fine by me. So coming up his bye week, I pick up Jameis Winston. Does okay for me. So I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'll just play Jameis another week. Jameis gets benched at halftime.
Oops.
So I'm like, I'm not going back to Matthew Stafford. Like, he's just looked atrocious. I'm going to go with Derek Carr. That was this week. Derek Carr puts up like 100 yards total. Oh, God. So I would love to have had Nick Mullins, is what I'm getting at. I would have killed to have had Nick Mullins this week.
Sad but true. I mean,
God, you got to play your matchups, bro.
Yeah,
that is a matchup.
That's true.
Playing against the 49ers, good Lord, that was a great matchup.
Hey, Nathan Peterman threw 3 more interceptions. Is he on pace to break that record?
Yes. In a part-time role, Nathan Peterman.
Man, I just don't like.
Listen, there's not a headache in the world big enough to not sign Colin Kaepernick over Nate Peterman.
No,
he's so bad.
But can someone tell me? And I hate to admit this because I have seen Nathan Peterman look good, and I've seen.
No, you haven't. No one has ever seen that.
No,
you have not. There's like 9 guys in the NBA that are better quarterbacks
Let
than
me friggin' finish. In the preseason, which doesn't mean anything. Like, I saw, a little bit of arm talent, and I was like, man, this kid could be good. I'm off that train. Why is Nathan Peterman still in the NFL?
Nathan Peterman throws interceptions in the walkthroughs without a defense.
Why is he still in the league? Why? Why?
He needs to throw an interception in the walkthrough just to get hit. How am I going to react to this? I know it's going to like.
It's coming.
Hey, Coach, can I just pop one in the belly of a safety real quick? Okay, I feel better. I feel
Now I know what to expect Sunday.
Listen,
That's the feeling.
The 2 complete passes he made to Terrell Pryor this week, it's because he thought Terrell Pryor was on the other team. That's the only reason he went 2 for 17. He's
hey,
like,
who's that guy? He doesn't look familiar.
boom! Oh, wait.
crap.
Oh yeah, that's good. That's good.
And the crowd goes wild.
Good Lord, why is he at the NFL?
Oh, he's so
Ben
bad.
Roethlisberger was your 6, and we got a straightaway on Nick Mullins because he's the topic of the week in a lot of circles. Russell Wilson was okay. Cam Newton was okay, and Aaron Rodgers rounded out your 10 with a little Baker Mayfield and Deshaun Watson behind him. I had to sprinkle those 2 names in there, but let's talk real quick. Let's talk disappointments. Tom Brady didn't exactly get it done for you. Kirk Cousins was freaking awful.
Yeah.
Terrible. No wonder Adam Thielen had a down
Tom
game.
Brady had a good game. He just didn't punch in that second touchdown. Like to have a good game in fantasy these days, with
need
the way
a couple.
you have to have 2 or more touchdowns. Like he went for 290 yards passing, 25 completions,
Yeah.
only 1 touchdown.
And listen,
But Brady's had 4 games this year with 1 or no passing touchdowns.
right. And I was
That's
getting ready.
unusual for him.
It is, and he's inefficient. But you know what? The truth of it boils down to he is on pace for 4,400 yards and 32 touchdowns. He's still Tom Brady, but he's just giving you these. It's a little more hit and miss this
No,
year.
it's just a running game. I mean, they can.
Yeah.
Last night they had 7 on 2 separate drives. They had 7 snaps inside the 3, maybe inside the 2, and they only tried to throw on 1 of them. You know, stopped on a 4th down. They didn't try the sneak. Now the Packers took it away from them. So I mean, for Tom Brady's
when
going
you
to
got a monster like
he's gonna
Cordero
eat.
Patterson in the backfield, you've just got to feed him the rock.
Tom Brady's going to eat eventually. When they get Gronk back and can finally say he's 100% healthy, I do believe that'll happen. That's when these numbers go up. That's when he gets his 2 or more passing touchdowns. Not worried about Tom Brady.
No, I'm not. I'm not either. But as far as your biggest duds of the week, besides those guys, Derek Carr stunk. Sam Darnold gave you friggin' nothing. That's why I'm going to roll Nick Mullins out if my only choice is Sam Darnold. He's a rookie, and there is no rookie so far this season. And correct me if I'm wrong because it's early in the morning. But is there a rookie worth playing in? Baker Mayfield's worth playing in fantasy,
And it's hit and miss.
but after Baker, which is great to say because we loved Baker this offseason, it is very hit and miss. It's Sam Darnold.
Stank.
Second to Sam Darnold, I'm probably looking at Rosen.
Yeah,
Or no, excuse me. Second to Baker, I'm probably looking at Rosen.
No,
I don't want any of them.
I'm with you on Rosen. I mean, I don't want to start him, but I'm not starting Darnold.
Darnold's bad. I mean, they're literally
They're bad right now.
They're
Let's not-
33.
Yeah.
They're-
We're not throwing him in the dumpster. Like if I have Darnold, I'm holding on to him. His value's not.
Let's
worth
not
trading.
convict them and extradite them back to the
No, because Jared Goff got
back to the
convicted and
CFL or
extradited.
anything. So
What I'm saying is there's 33, I believe, qualified quarterbacks with minimum number of attempts this year.
extradite.
They're 31, 32, and 33. There's only 32 teams in the league. But
What?
Darnold, Rosen, and Josh Allen Josh Allen's 33rd. I mean, the only
Yeah.
reason Nate Peterman is not above them is because he hasn't thrown enough passes to be a qualified quarterback.
Man, I'm not so sure if we rewound the clock. No, that's not a good way to put it. But if Dan Marino was reincarnated in a young form and got drafted by Buffalo, hands off. I'm not taking him. Yeah, I don't want anybody in Buffalo on my fantasy team at all.
I'll take him all day. Anyhow, continue.
Let's talk about some running backs. Kamara, your crush, wasn't it?
What?
No,
thought
I've been
Nick said
looking at running backs since y'all said like Nick Mullins 8 times.
Yeah, we can't shut up about quarterbacks this morning. So it's Monday morning quarterback time. But no, Alvin Kamara, Kareem Hunt. Man, Kareem Hunt's been good. I know we've already talked about him, but he's been real good. Christian McCaffrey finally has a top fantasy game. Tevin Coleman, one of my not so obvious sits of the week.
T. Cole.
I'm doing terrible on those, by the way.
Yeah, at about halfway through his monster game, I'm like,
Don't tell anyone. Don't tell anyone with
by the way,
wrong.
Kareem Hunt already has 13,
Well, listen,
13
Tevin
touchdowns
Coleman's
this year.
done nothing all season, and then all of a sudden he's like, I'm going to catch me some touchdowns. Well, thanks, Tevin. Name like Tevin.
Much appreciated, buddy.
Duke Johnson's back, apparently, with the new regime possibly giving him the looks now. Is that going to continue?
That is not an accurate statement. Duke Johnson's still Duke Johnson. He is game flow dependent. You play the Chiefs, he's going to score well. You play the Steelers, he's not. You play the Ravens, he's not. You play the Jets, he's not.
Dude.
But when he plays good offenses, he's going to be like next week he'll be fine.
6 out of 9 games are single-digit outputs.
That's
what do
what-
you mean Duke Johnson's still Duke Johnson?
That's what I'm saying.
He's saying that the previous game scripts never wasn't conducive to Duke Johnson.
So you don't believe that they're going to work him in more from here on?
They were down by like 3 touchdowns before they took the field.
They've been down by 3 touchdowns
He
plenty
had-
of times this season.
Barker, he had 8 yards rushing.
I'm not talking about rushing.
He had 8 yards rushing.
I'm talking about him wanting to be James White's brother.
Hey, Barker, he had 8 yards rushing.
I don't care about the rushing with Duke Johnson. It's never been about the rushing with Duke Johnson.
Actually, I think
It's been about making him their number 2 slot, like their number 2 receiver.
I think that more than anything, the movement of Carlos Hyde out, and it's just him and Nick Chubb now, just Johnson and Chubb, is there's no one else is going to get the passing work.
I'll take
versus
Duke Johnson rest of the season.
All right, I'll make you a bet. I will give you he will have 15 or more points next week.
Okay.
Then the bye week. Then Bengals, Texans, Panthers, Broncos. I bet he doesn't go over 10 points in any of those games.
How about we do this?
I mean, I'm not betting money against it because that's wild, but that's his plateau on those games.
How about we do this, Nit? $5 bet.
He might not score over. I don't think he'll. I'll say he'll go over 15 against the Falcons. Let's just do over under 15. I'll give you over. I'll give you over against the Falcons and under the rest of the way out the season.
Well, here's a better way to do it. I figure $5 from weeks 10.
I'm not. I just said I'm not doing money.
God dang it. Okay, $1. 10 through 17.
Still money.
A quarter. Okay,
That's still money.
Okay, I will
1
just
cent. No, that's still money.
$1 football dollar.
You're betting. I'm telling the people what's going to happen. You can play. You roll out Duke Johnson next week, and then he's going to struggle. Because I believe in Nick Chubb, but more than anything, I know for a fact Duke Johnson is a game flow dependent running back.
Well, I'm going to say,
and the only time he's involved is when they're getting destroyed.
I'm going to say rest of season starting next week, weeks 10 through 17. He's a 15-point average. That's where I was going.
That's kind of what I said.
You said under.
I said under though.
Yeah, I'm going.
If he's over,
I'm going.
a little
I'm
bit
going
under.
I mean, how much?
It could average out. We could both be
Didn't
right.
you start at 10? Didn't you start at 10 and then,
I was trying to
regress back to
No,
15?
I drove. I was trying to drive home a point with the 10. I could see
if he's going to do 14.9 points a week, I'm taking it. That's a good fantasy back.
I was just trying to make a friendly bet. Friendly wager.
That's all I'm saying.
Duke Johnson.
I believe he's good
He's
for
solid.
15 the rest of I believe he's good for a 15 average the rest of the season.
But
But
Nick-
then again, I think Tevin Coleman was going to have 2 points last week. So
I don't even think he out-touched Nick Chubb in this game, did he?
probably not. I mean,
I mean, he only had
Chubb's
he
going to
had
be
10
the rock
touches.
carrier.
Yeah, I'm just that's what. You like your volume, guys, but then you want to go with Duke Johnson.
Hey,
I like volume, but then I like Duke Johnson.
but I mean, I want to mix it up.
He makes no sense.
I want to mix it up. I don't want nothing
wanna
but
mix
Isaiah
it-
Crowell.
But now I like Duke Johnson.
I want to mix it up, but I don't want Alvin Kamara.
I never.
But
said
I'll
I
take
didn't
Duke
want him.
Johnson.
I never said it.
I'll take Duke Johnson. I'll tell you what. Give me Alvin Kamara and James White, and I'll be ecstatic.
What
I
it is?
don't care if they get 1 carry a game each. They're going to both catch 15 balls.
Does Barker want an $8 hamburger or does he want 2 value bills? I'll take the 2 value bills.
Dude, it depends on the day. It depends on the day. Sometimes I go through Steak and Shake. I'm like, do you have a junior bacon?
He loves his value bills.
Just kind of want a junior bacon.
Yeah, but the problem is he's spending the $8 hamburger price to get the first value meal. And then he's getting like just an extra JBC.
I like to mix it up. Give me a double stack.
Oh god.
Melvin Gordon came back and was fine. James Conner against the Ravens. 100-yard game against the Ravens. This vaunted defense.
Mm-hmm.
James Conner is he is safe to ride like a pony the rest of the way home.
Just like I said.
4 consecutive 100-yard rushing games.
Lev who?
And five so far this year.
Is Lev Bell coming back? Can somebody answer that question for me?
For another team.
Why would he?
No, I mean this season he has to get paid and get his cure his. I mean it's this week. He has to come back by week 10, or I don't think he can be a free agent.
Oh,
correct?
man, isn't this going to be hilarious? Le'Veon Bell's like, no, you are all right. Okay. I'll take that $70 million. No, Lev, we don't really need to pay you now. No, 50, and we'll call it good. And, I'm sorry about what I said and about not showing up.
No, we're going to trade you.
We're just we're fine. We're just going to roll out with James Conner. $30 million. That's pretty much what we talked about. We'll just go with $30 million.
You know what? I would do the $50 million now. But
I would too.
But what it is then you can ship him off with a good contract.
Right.
God, that would make him more valuable. I mean, obviously it's not going to happen.
But if $50 million and you call someone like the Raiders and you're like, hey, so you got 5 draft picks in the next 2 years. What do you think about
tossing a few our way?
Sending a couple of those first rounders over
We
here?
just locked up Lev to 4 years. Well, 4 years, $50 million is our proposed contract at this point in the season.
I feel like we're playing that old NFL head coach game on PlayStation.
But
where you argue with the computer?
Yeah.
That's so stupid.
Oh, it was
like
fun.
all video games, just stupid.
now, assuming
Shut up.
Lev is not that ridiculous, he has to come back week 10 if he wants to do anything. To be a free agent, he has to come back. So let's assume he's going to come back because he wants to be a free agent. What's Steelers? What do they do with him?
Trade him.
I'm going to tell you.
you trade him.
for the rest
I'm
of the
going to tell you
season.
what I do with
You
him.
sit him on the bench and you trade him.
That's what I was looking for.
No.
No?
You're paying him. Play.
Well, yeah, he's got to play some.
Yeah.
I'm
not saying you don't put him in for 100% of the snaps like he used to play before, but my God, give him a quarter of snaps at least. Make him earn his paycheck.
Maybe.
I'm telling you right now, Le'Veon Bell comes back for my team with what James Conner's done.
You know what?
You're returning kicks, Le'Veon. You're returning punts.
No,
Dude, why not? He's got no value to. He's gone next year. He's gone.
Can they trade him?
No, they can't.
No, he'll be
Yeah.
a free agent.
I mean, it's done.
the trade deadline's
ship has
done.
sailed.
Yeah, so why not? I was gonna say why get him hurt, but then again,
He's not your problem.
There's no point.
But
at
on
this
the
point.
left side, are you going to give him anything when they put you in? Or are you just going to be like, oops, fell down?
Man, forget this situation.
Okay, we'll move on.
No, I'm saying for the NFL, maybe they need to rethink the whole this situation. Maybe the trade deadline should come after whatever you call this period of
the
getting
same
paid.
time.
This pay period, we'll call it
Yeah.
this pay period. Maybe that trade deadline should be extended past. That way you can be like, well, he finally came back.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
So
on
now
that.
I can
get what
trade.
you're saying.
Now we can trade because
The mandatory time frame for them to return, be
Yeah.
able to trade after that.
Or rolled back. How is week 10 through? At least make him come back week 8. Week 8 or
Yeah.
Yeah, that's and I'm sure it's an NFLPA thing. So
It's a
the
problem.
players have too much
I was gonna
power.
say, that's probably the most
anyway.
powerful union in the United States right now.
Yeah, they have too much power anyway. And then I'm sure I'm gonna get. I'm sure there's someone out there but they can't even kneel for the anthem. They have too much power. All right, plain and simple.
Hey, Nit,
Yo.
guess who was the number 10 running back this week? in
Oh,
our league
dude,
format?
I know it's Mike Davis.
Oh, it's Big Mike Davis. One of Nit's dudes.
Just let him be the starter. I
One
really
of
like
Nit's
Mike
dudes.
He just great. He's not that great. He's not going to be good on any other team, but he's great for the Seattle Seahawks. I mean, that's what they need. I know they lost. They almost won, but that's what they need out of him.
What are they doing in Seattle?
Because he can block. He's really good at pass pro.
They just rotate in 100-yard rushers. It's Chris Carson, it's Mike Davis, it's not Rashad Penny.
Sean Alexander in the stands. Come down here real quick.
Here, we're going to keep feeding you the rock, no matter how many times it takes to get you to 100 yards.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to. Yeah. Mike, that ship sailed with me. I mean, I do want Mike Davis to be successful, but next week he'll probably get 3 carries.
If they play him, he does well. Bust of the week at the running back position. Dear God, Kerryon Johnson. Theo Riddick comes back and you become a shell of your former self. That the hype train was rolling and it has stopped.
So, before we get all the way down that far down the list, what about Dalvin? Dalvin returns this week, 10 for 89. Like,
he's still good. He just needed time to recover. I mean, you can't just throw him right back out there. I mean, you can try, but are NFL teams just terrible at evaluating injury? I mean,
no, they see more than we do. They're seeing them in practice. I mean, every guy's different in the way they come back. So it was just one of those things. I mean, once you get over the physical part of it, you have to get over the mental part.
Yeah,
so maybe he's just slowly reemerging right now.
So with this emergence, I guess what I'm getting at is Latavius Murray. Still, I think Murray had 90 yards in this game.
10 carries as well, I think.
10 carries, 31 yards, a touchdown.
Oh, I thought he had. My bad. I thought he had.
That's
90.
okay. You love
16
Latavius.
yards, but you could say he's still involved. I mean, Latavius Murray is going to leech. Latavius Murray has earned the right to be their goal line vulture for Dalvin Cook. I mean, he's.
Does he have any value for the rest of the year? Is what I'm asking.
Latavius, absolutely,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, I would still
Not good
be
value,
okay.
but he has value.
Yeah, I'd be okay starting him as a flex on
I was going to say he's
bye weeks.
That's where I was going to ask. Was he
Yeah.
a flex or is he RB2?
I mean, he's probably still going to get the majority of like the carries within the 5 yard line.
Not exciting as a flex, but I mean, you can play it.
You can play it.
Gotcha.
Now, do you want to dip a little deeper in on carry on? Is there much to say?
Man, the Lions kind of scare me as far as, I mean, you got Galladay that's supposed to be this big breakout after Golden Tate. It could still be Marvin Jones's week or Kenny Galladay's or someone else's. And I bought into the carry-on hype, and I'm not saying it's over. Like, it's not over. I'm still glad that I bought me some shares of carry-on, but this is a Lions team that throughout the years, they just can't seem to commit to anyone in particular at running back, and it's worrisome to me.
Kerryon Johnson has 10 points or more in basically all but 2 weeks. Like,
I get that.
Whenever this was a struggle bus week, but last week he saved you with the in the passing game. This week obviously didn't.
Right, but I think the owners' expectations are, ooh, we've got a top 10 guy
10
here.
to 15 points every week is what you're expecting. But I mean,
Now.
He's only got in the end zone once this year.
The most bothersome thing to me is LeGarrette Blount's still getting looks.
There you go.
Five attempts, 8 yards. Come on, you're in full rebuild mode. Maybe not full rebuild mode, but I mean, you just traded Golden Tate. You've kind of melded in on this season. Play Kenny Galladay nonstop. Play Kerryon Johnson nonstop. Give them looks and develop them for the future.
Correct.
LeGarrette Blount has nothing to do with 2019. Like LeGarrette Blount's going to retire.
Even if you have him on a 4-year contract, he's not playing for you next year.
Yeah.
Regardless.
I don't get it. Like, why? I guess I get that you need a running back to spell to come in and take a few snaps from Kerryon, but that's Theo Riddick. So I don't know.
But the aggravating thing is the work that Kerryon Johnson got that always saved you. Theoretic 7 catches for 36 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Like, dude, come on. Like that you add that all of a sudden to Kerryon's day. Over 10 points.
That's a good day. He had a good day at the office.
You know, as I laid my head down last night, maybe that's why I woke up at 4:30 this morning, but I was really excited to talk about wide receivers this morning.
Me too.
I can already tell.
too.
Like Arms, I know why Arms is excited. But we'll run through the gauntlet. Michael Thomas gives Arms a reason to be excited. He's a Michael Thomas truther.
Who else?
Let me get there. Let's get there. Let's take it step by step. 2, Adam Humphries was your number 2 wide receiver, at least in our league format. Adam Humphries has quietly become one of those. I like to refer to him as like the sixth man. Like, he's the guy that can come off the bench and give you a handful of catches and just help your team out. He's not a fantasy guy. But, I mean, in 32-teamers, he's a fantasy guy, which I got him in a 32-teamer and was pumped about yesterday. But you got Julio, DeAndre, the usual suspects. Josh Gordon had his week. Brandon Cooks, you can expect that. Before we get to your guy, Maurice Harris. We should talk about Maurice Harris.
Legitimately never heard of him.
Let's talk about Maurice Harris for 20 minutes and just skip the rest of them.
No.
Just kidding. Curtis Samuel, you go right ahead.
Thank you.
You go right ahead.
Listen, it's not volume. The kid's just explosive. It's as simple as that.
Oh my God! I was hoping you were just going to be truthful.
No, he's 5 games. He's got 4 touchdowns so far this year.
This is comical.
The kid gets in the end zone.
Dude, you flip-flop harder on Curtis Samuel than anybody has ever flip-flopped on anything. You called him a turd a week ago. He was a turd a week ago.
It was probably 2 weeks ago. But anyway, I wanted him to succeed so bad. And after his first week, I'm like, yes.
Curtis.
And then he follows up the following week with literally a tackle. His only statistic was a tackle.
A turd.
But, I mean, guys, every other game he's scoring touchdowns. But it's not a lot of volume. And he's getting carries. He's getting some of the short routes.
Carry.
I think he had 2.
So are you going to play him?
I did this week.
Arms,
I was ravaged by bye weeks.
We were talking about the Raiders being bad. Like the Buccaneers they're on pace to be one of the historically bad defenses of all time.
Okay. And I'm not saying that he's a stud, but he did finish.
He was explosive.
He is explosive.
Explosivo.
He is explosive. He's had he just gets in the end zone with no carries, just one for 35 yards and gets in the freaking end zone.
Listen to that line. It's Curtis Samuel. He just gets into the end zone.
Please play him next week against me. Please play.
I'm probably going to have to.
He's not going to have 2 touchdowns and 3 touches next week against anyone.
Still I love Arms. I'm probably going to have to. Yeah, you can bank on it. And he's going to get in the end zone.
Listen,
right on you, Nick.
I got ravaged by bye weeks. I had to start Terrell Pryor and Curtis Samuel, and I'm like, God.
Hey, you got to be happy with starting him this week.
And I'm just sitting there like, I'm going to get just smacked by this guy who's got the worst team that keeps winning.
Tightest season high in targets for the year with 4.
Boom. Curtis
Samuel or Maurice Harris?
Give me Mo Harris.
Give me Mo Harris.
Give me Curtis Samuel. He gets carries.
Give me some Mo, baby.
He had 10 receptions for 124. I don't know who this kid is either.
4 touchdowns.
Yeah, somebody's got to step up for Washington. He's definitely worth a speculative ad. I'm going to go put a claim in for him right now, to be honest, because my receivers, not on bye week, crap the bed, David Moore and Seth Roberts. Yeah, I probably shouldn't have those guys on my team, but they are.
Who did you say?
Can I trade one of those guys for Curtis?
No.
Curtis Samuel?
Maybe David Moore. I don't know. Let's talk about that.
Let's talk about that after the show.
All right.
Your beard's weird. Let's talk about it.
I'm probably not going to bite on any Seth Roberts. That's a really bad Oakland offense.
All right. So yeah, but we had those guys. I'm putting in my claim, so I'm kind of off the track right now. But Mo Harris, Sammy Curtis, Keenan Allen finally had a good game. Cooper Kupp, Calvin Ridley, Julian Edelman, Devontae Adams, Antonio Brown, Schuster, top 15 rounding them out. Nothing but big names, but Mo Harris and Curtis Samuel and Adam Humphries.
Is Cooper Kupp a top 5 receiver the rest of the year?
Dude, I love Cooper Kupp. He is.
He's right on the border if he's not. He's like
one of
6
those
or 7
guys that don't have that major name that you could have got this offseason or first couple games that could help you tremendously. But the value's starting to catch up. The name recognition is starting to happen. So if you don't hurry up and try to grab a full Cooper Kupp,
serious question,
you're going to miss the boat.
In redraft PPR, Golden Tate or Cooper Kupp?
Cooper
Kupp, yeah.
In Dynasty, it's Cooper Kupp all the way. I was just asking in redraft.
Yeah, Cooper Kupp in redraft just because of the scoring, the red zone opportunities.
Oh, he
for
gets
him.
a ton of touchdowns.
And it's, I don't want to say it's not close because it is. I mean, Golden Tate, but we got to see what Golden Tate does with the Eagles before we even consider maybe switching.
Kenny Galladay or Cooper Kupp?
Cooper Kupp.
Easy, Cooper Kupp.
Okay.
I mean, not even in the.
It's worth asking. No, there's a lot of Galladay truthers out there.
Sammy Watkins.
Or who? Curtis Samuel?
Curtis Samuel.
Curtis Samuel. Give me Curtis Samuel.
Mo Harris.
Give me some Mo.
Sammy Watkins or Curtis Samuel? Give me Mo Harris.
Give me some Redskin Mo.
I see what you did there.
Oh, man.
Oh, God.
Disappointments this week. Jarvis Landry just not getting it done for you. Emmanuel Sanders. I mean, yes, they had 10 points, but I mean, they're supposed to do more.
You need more out of them.
You need more.
I mean, you've basically after
Tyreek Hill,
games, you had to pay
and
Thielen prices.
I mean, they were okay for you, but Thielen, Tyreek Hill,
those are duds for those two guys.
For those two guys, it is a dud for them.
Is this the first time all year that Thielen's went under 100?
Yeah.
Wow.
I believe.
8 consecutive games of 100 yards. Still gets you a touchdown this week, but
Yeah, thanks for that.
criminy.
Tyrell Williams and Mike Williams finishing back-to-back. Just Chargers.
It's kind of becoming a trend. I mean, you can technically you can go full Rams and you can start Keenan Allen, Tyrell, and Mike Williams if you
Full Chargers, yeah.
and not really suffer from it.
I mean,
You
Mike
could start
Williams is the guy that you would suffer with because if he
bit.
doesn't catch his one ball that goes into the end zone,
Right, if he doesn't-
you now have 0 points
If he
from
doesn't
him.
get his jump ball opportunity,
Yeah, but he's probably going to catch that ball. That's he was, along with Cooper Kupp, missing the 2 or 3 games that he did. I was just trying to roll down the stats to see, the most receiving touchdowns this year. And Mike Williams is in the conversation on 18 catches. He's got 5 touchdowns.
Ooh, very Sammy Watkins like from last year.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
He's very Curtis Samuel like this year.
basically.
Just gets in the end zone.
Just all he needs.
He
is
has
touch.
one. He has one more touchdown.
All he does
than
is score,
Curtis Samuel.
score no matter what.
Just so we're clear, one more touchdown.
Okay.
Hit those tight ends real quick.
Tight ends, Travis Kelce again. There is him and Zach Ertz have been extremely consistent, and Zach Ertz put up an egg, but only because he was on a bye week. Travis
Kittle.
Kelce and George Kittle. George Kittle is slowly becoming one of my favorite players in the league.
George Kittle is probably my favorite tight end. In the
He
league.
is becoming one of my favorite players.
I mean-
Just watching the way he plays football, the man is a football player.
The difference between George Kittle and Travis Kelce. Kelce's better offense. That's just no doubt about it. But George Kittle's only 25 years old.
I learned a lot about George Kittle the last few weeks. Like I thought he was just this hardworking, like I'll block for you. I'm gonna grind out my yardage. No, the dude's actually kind of electric. Like that catch that you were talking about earlier in the show, the one hander, rip it down and go. Like there's athleticism there. Like it's not just a slow lumbering, I'm bigger than you tight end. Like he's legitimately an athletic
In the same
member of the NFL. Like he's good.
in the
Who
same
does-
draft class as David Njoku, Kittle was the one who basically dominated the combine. He was the fastest tight end. I think he had the fastest 3-cone, broad jump, all of it. Kittle
But
dominated.
does he remind you of an all-time great tight end from maybe your favorite college team?
I think
You think Witten?
Yeah.
yeah.
He can do it all.
I feel
he
like
can
he's-
block. He can catch. He's
Yeah, but we're talking about a Hall of Famer here.
no. Listen, I'm not saying
He said remind. Like that.
Remind.
That's legitimate, dude. George Kittle has had a wonderful
Is
for
there
second year.
Can you think of anyone that plays that kind of game, that Witten style of game? I mean, if I'm trying to think
Just
of somebody
kind of
that
always open.
Yeah.
we'll block. We'll give you effort nonstop. I mean, George Kittle's a football player, man, and Jeff or
Jeff Witten.
Jeff Witten.
Jason Witten. Oh, Hefe. Oh, Hefe.
Wearing my blazing orange Tennessee stuff.
A little technical difficulty, but yeah, Jeff Witten. Oh, Kittle looking a lot like the former Tennessee Vol.
Shut up.
Not the way I was wanting to come back into this. Shut up.
Jeff.
It's not Jeff. It's not Jeff.
All right. We'll just keep moving down the line. Jeff freaking Heuerman. Are you a fan of him since you're a Bucknut?
Maybe that's what I was looking at like 4 minutes ago when
listen,
that happened.
Stop trying to sugarcoat this. It's Jeff Witten now.
It's not Heuerman. It's Jeff Witten.
Jason Hireman had a good game.
Have you seen a tight end look as much like Jason Witten as Jeff Heuerman? That's legitimate.
They're a little similar in
little bit.
stature. Yeah, I'm not going to buy anything in this Heuerman. I don't care if he got 10 freaking receptions.
I'm like, didn't like him at Ohio State, don't like him in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, he's a blocking guy.
For the 7th show in a row, the tight end landscape means you have to pay some attention to what Jeff Heuerman did yesterday.
Yeah, I'll give you that. O.J. Howard, a little bit surprising production with
could have gone without it, but
with Fitzpatrick.
just me.
I'm just saying.
Sorry.
Howard,
It's the only reason I'm still in the game with Nit.
Howard for the
Technical difficulty number 2, and Niddle disappears.
what?
Let's wrap
What
these
happened?
up. Apparently, Jeff Witten was really upset that he called him Jeff Witten.
Did the Tennessee Grim Reaper come and take Chad away?
I believe that's what happened.
That or the Rapture. Anyhow, as I was saying, O.J. Howard, it was like played a quarter of the snaps at the beginning of the season. whenever he got a target, productive with it. I mean, he's been productive pretty much the biggest part of the year, but it's like Fitzpatrick just he's like, I'm going to throw it to anybody else except for O.J. Howard.
Right.
2 or 3 times a game, hit him something deep and make him relevant. But, I mean, you were getting saved sometimes in the fourth quarter with 2 catches.
Absolutely.
So
let's run down through them so we can end this and end the technical difficulty. So we had George Kittle at 4. Greg Olsen, big comeback game for him. And then you got some weird names like Nick Vanette and Logan Thomas in the top 10, along with Jimmy Graham, Ben Watson, and Vernon Davis. Vernon
Davis?
Vernon Davis.
You just can't trust which tight end's going to have any production in Washington. So it's a little bit sketchy to me to even have Vernon Davis starting at any point.
It's a little strange. Same with Nick Vanette. I could have swore Ed Dixon was going to be the guy.
And he might be going forward.
Maybe.
It just wasn't this week. I mean,
whoever treated Russell the best throughout the week.
Isn't it hilarious how if you guys sort the tight ends by total point production, basically 10 or 11, 12, something in that range every week, 10 points or above. And it hits 9.8 points at like 12 or 13 every time.
Yep, pretty much.
It's pathetic. The sad thing is there's no way you're going to be able to predict who has those high points. I mean, I would have expected Njoku to have a better week, but he didn't. So
Poor Njoku.
Yeah, poor Njoku. Any relevance you'd like to talk about on the IDP side there, Squanto?
I would love to, but for the sake of getting the show done and us getting to work, we may have to touch on IDP performances when we start the next episode. So, or maybe me and you will just get together and do a quick IDP rundown.
Okay,
we could probably
do that.
We could probably do that. So that's what we'll do.
Okay. All right, since you don't want to be my friend anymore, that's fine.
I do want to be your
friend. No, that's fine.
Sorry.
All right, you ready to wrap this up? What are you doing, guy?
Well, honest to God, I was looking for our outro. I can't find it.
That's okay. You can add it later, right?
Nope. No, it's okay. Anyways, Bark is out.
Good night.
Peace.